Happy fucking Tuesday, y'all. How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. But nope, I mean, like, that's good high. That hasn't changed. Let's see if it wants to make a higher high. You know, when it's a good high getting swept, or if it's a bearish structure, it's usually going to be a swing fail pattern. Okay, so as of right now, that is correct. It does not look good for a long, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get 500 million in shorts opening right here. Then we're probably going to go up a little bit to squeeze, and you could still have a bearish retest up there. Let's start the TA up, ladies and gentlemen. How was everybody's 3-day holiday weekend? Everybody have a good 3-day holiday weekend? It's gonna pull it to 4,800. Okay. 4,800. What is ETH doing right now? Okay, and then... Okay, dope. Okay. Excuse me. Let me get this gap drawn out. Okay. Good. And then let's mark out some levels here. So, did I miss anything? We looked at this. Well, actually, let me see the volume and open interest too. Okay. All right. We looked at. Let's look at this Fridays. Okay. Looked at that. Let's check what this is. 45.6. 45.6.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. And I said, we strong then.
What's the open interest? 656 million? What the fuck? Okay, let's watch the reaction at the 48 hundo. How we doing? Karsa says, do you keep the short on Kraken over? Yes. Yep. Here you go. Yeah, I mean, I haven't touched it. Hopefully no one should be asking things like long or short. Do you have your short open? That would kind of tell me that you didn't understand anything we talked about Thursday and Friday. But I also really didn't do anything over the weekend, so I'm trying to get caught up. Is everybody good on the plan? I'm gonna wait until we hit 48 hundo on S&P, and then we'll just see what the reaction is like. So Guru says, what is your view for BTC for this week, bro? Identify for me, so Guru, poor lows and poor highs. All right. Make sure that you see where the TPO, value area high, value area lows are. Make sure you have all of these levels mapped out. We can start the TA here in a little bit, but I think we should Letuche. What do you guys think about a little wake and bake, y'all? Well, this is what I would say. Like, my conclusion after like seeing all that shit is CME gap just closed. Yeah, it's probably gonna go down. Like, I'm not gonna close my short until we hit like the 40,000s, right? Because that's where the liquidity is. But I'm actually starting to think that like the 32, 33 ain't happening. I'm starting to think the 33, the 31, 32, 33, that ain't happening. Yeah, and I'm starting to think maybe I need to long 39. So just by kind of, I mean, it was the weekend, so I guess we're not gonna put that much value into it, but. So Guru says, what do you think about return 46,100 for dump is a 0.62 Fibonacci? No, I don't think you would want to short if it goes above 44K. Carbomb says, you don't think 32K will happen in the short term or it won't happen at all? Well, you tell me. Are we looking at the same shit? Go through the most important deribit options. Look at what strategies the options are playing. Look at your high block liquidity and then identify weak highs and weak lows. Okay, how are we doing? Come on, S&P, hurry the fuck up. Yeah, so it's just ranging. You guys already know what it is. It's just ranging. We could almost make like a new Kimba box, if you will. It's kind of like retail arena, the new retail arena. It has to break out of 44 or it's gonna slip 41. That's really just about it. The problem that I would have with, there's nothing wrong with longing, but the easier long would come after the liquidity is swept. And then you can see like Binancio Magneto like trying to sneak in down there at the bottom of retail arena, Kimba box. Yeah, you could maybe see it go to 45 before a rotation back down again, but that would be low probability, but you know what it is. We don't really get bearish on the penetration. The bearishness comes on the bearish retest. So that would be maybe the only scenario where I would allow it for it to go above 44. Other than that, you've got a weak low right there at 4, so that's going to get swept at some point, and I have that marked here on this one. So 41,370 low is weak. All right, the 41,700 low is poor. You had poor high, poor high, poor high, poor high, but the weekend sweep already closed all those out. Since this was the weekend fill, I could see one more to kind of stop everybody out, but you really wouldn't want to go beyond 44. And if you did, then you would expect a 45,000 rejection. Otherwise, I wouldn't short anything above that. Yeah, and then I would probably say that I think we have to be careful when we get down here. Oops. I think we have to be careful when we get down here. We could get the gap fill and then go. And that's about it. Zudon says, did someone say baguette? Mr. Binary says, there's the sweep you just talked about. Well, the sweep ain't a sweep until what? There's 27 minutes left on this 30-minute candle close. But yeah, you want to see if it sweeps the weekend wick? Do we get a 30-minute candle close below? You know that I'm getting ready to I'm thinking about longing some outs, right? I've been waiting for about a year and a half with y'all. Literally, if you've been watching me for 2 years, then you have heard me every month talking about I'm gonna wait until it sweeps. I've been waiting a year and a half to long ETH. Okay? I've been waiting a year and a half with you guys, 2 years by myself to long ETH. Okay? And it finally swept the level that I have been waiting for a year and a half. Okay? I should have been aggressive and taken that long, but I didn't. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, for a year and a half, I've been talking about the bullish retest of the breakout of this multi-year trend line that's been resistance. So whether it's BTC dominance or ETH BTC, I have beat the TA to this shit to death, and I feel like we're pretty well prepared. All right, hello, Sean. So do you remember what I've been saying for a whole year? I want a sweep of that level. If I miss this, and you know what? You know what's crazy? I've been talking about if I miss this sweep for at least 8 months. So even though I missed that, I still have a plan. Do you know what my plan is? Remember when we got faked out on these breakouts? Do you remember when we identified this as a potential support and resistance? And look at that, we got a sweep of that as well. We didn't just pull this out of our ass. These are things that we have been anticipating and waiting on for months. So for me, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I know exactly what I'm gonna try to do, okay? But I'm gonna try to get the bullish retest. That will be the next thing. Swing high, swing low, that's golden pocket. Okay, we got a sweep of that, and we got a sweep of that. Yeah, so whether it's Bitcoin dominance or .BTC, ADA BTC, Atom BTC, ETH BTC, there's certain altcoins that I'm getting ready to long. Isn't there a point of volume, point of control, confluencing pixel perfect at 886? So usually when you ask questions like that, what's the first thing that I tell y'all to do? Identify levels. TPO, value area high, value area low, point of control. Volume, value area high, value area low, point of control. Single prints, poor highs, poor lows. So if you ask me, hey, why are you putting orders above 786? Well, you haven't identified levels then. Why wouldn't you? If you have a point of control going all the way to 886, wouldn't you want to get filled just in case? Your stop loss is still 44 thou. The first levels to the upside, and if you missed it, it's all good. But earlier in the stream, we were talking about sweep. Okay, and earlier we were talking about Kimba box would be a box from 7.5 to 8.86, stop loss behind the 44. That was the VIP trade, and if you're in it, awesome. You had a 30-minute swing fail structure form. This one confirmed it with a body candle close below, and now you're gonna see if it's gonna play out. So if you're in a short, that's totally fine, Bugats. If you're in a long from down here, Bugats. You had poor high, poor. So over the weekend, sweep it short. It happened over the weekend, and CME had not gap filled. So makes sense that it sweeps the sweep, gap fill complete, swept, finished business. So really locally, the top is done. Your next level of interest, I probably wouldn't short until 45 if this short doesn't work. Okay? You have a weak low and a poor low. Okay? So if you took a short there, your first TP would be there. Second TP would probably be that. And then maybe you just let the rest run. When I nerded out on the CME data, volume, open interest, settlements, when I nerded out on derivative options and all expirations with 50,000, close to a billion on 50,000, everybody sees it, right? The NOsh is around $1 billion. Based off of how HyblockCapital and KingFisher changed, right? KingFisher looks different now. I'm actually thinking that, remember when I wanted to swing a home run for the 33, 32, 31, 30? I think that's actually lower probability now. So I'm thinking I may need to close the short and long at the 40K zone, the 39, 40K zone. I think the probability of going to see 33, 32, 31, 30 got a little bit lower for me. Still possible, and I'll still, you know, maybe let a little bit run just in case we straight nuke through 40. But yeah, don't be surprised if I take a long from 40 thou, you know, 39.9, 39.5. This area kind of looks interesting. There's Binancio Magneto at 40,600. That's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions? Shout outs to longers, shout outs to shorters. Are we Gucci? Are we Gucci? For love and peace, you good? Any questions? Abdo says level to the upside. I just kind of told you, brother. Like, if this short doesn't work, right? If this short doesn't work to grab the weak and the poor low, then I probably wouldn't short until 45,000. Why 45,000, brother? We don't get bearish on the penetration. We get bearish on the bearish retest or the confirmation. So wouldn't that just be common sense, brother? If you really wanted to, there's your single prints. So you've got this, you've got this, you've got this. How funny would it be if it's a failed auction? But yeah, so if this goes above 44, then I probably wouldn't be thinking about shorting until like around here. And then after that, it's really here, is it not? And this guy has its own confluence, like this guy, like this, like the Burj Khalifa at 45.6. What is that? 45.8, 45.9?
I said we strong then.
So I'll say it again. Apologies if I sound like a broken record. Let's start with levels. I would, even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, it's not that hard to install Addis and just use the basic 30-minute template. Yeah, right? I've already shown the TPO settings many times. But even if you don't know how to use it, or even if you don't know what the fuck you're pulling out, you should be able to identify volume, value area low, value area high, TPO, value area low, value area high. Obviously, point of controls, you know, if you can start to take the next step up and start to identify Fibonacci confluence, single prints, you know, good tail, bad tail, poor high, poor low, good high, then that's how you start identifying the levels. And then once it starts to hit those levels, look at the data like open interest or CVD and see if it's bullishly reacting or bearishly reacting at those levels. And then just do your best. Soup Wonton says, can you show me which indicator you use on Trading Light? It's literally right here, TPO. Bink, 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 bink. Neo says, Kimba, whilst we have completed 2 30-minute closes, is this a high chance dump probability or still a bit 50-50? You have a higher chance that you're going to go rotate and grab the poor low now, Neo. But like, it's like 56, 57% versus like 44, 43. . What I would try to highlight, Neo, and what this would kind of fall under is what are the probabilities that when there is a poor high or a poor low in a smaller time frame range, do they get left behind before a breakout? So I would say that it's maybe 2 out of 10 times it'll do that. And what I mean by that is when it's ranging like this, okay, whether it's gonna do this or do that, does it leave poor highs or poor lows behind? It does it once in a while, I don't know, like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, and it means that they're just saving it, right? Just like the 31, 30, 32 shit. But we just grabbed, do you understand what this was? This, in my opinion, these were poor weekend sweep, right? But since it's the weekend, it doesn't count. CME also didn't gap fill, okay? So it tries to go, all right, but gets immediately bought back up to actually gap fill and sweep the sweep of the weekend. So if anything, this is a bearish confirmation of the poor highs getting spanked. That's all it is for me. There is no, oh my God, we're gonna go to 44. Oh my God, we're gonna go to grab the single prints. Nah, fuck that. I don't know how you would reach those conclusions. I mean, maybe after you turn like this into support, the TPO point of control, maybe if you have an actual bounce, then that would make sense. Okay, but all this is to me is just the poor high getting cleaned out CME gap fill. That's all it is to me. And it's still in retail arena. So if it really does, and again, you gotta be able to, don't just take my word for it. You need to be able to remember, when it's ranging, does it break out before all the poor highs or poor lows are taken, yes or no? In my opinion, 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, pretty over convincingly, it grabs all the pours and weak highs and lows before it breaks out. So again, we just grabbed all the bad highs, weekend, tried to go, bought back up, CME gap fill, and we just sweep the sweep. That's a bearish retest for me for this, grabbing this. Now you have that down there, okay? So even if it is bullish, if you go back and take a look, do you really think they're gonna leave that before they pop back up? I don't know, it's up to you. So I would say maybe 2 out of 10 times. Now, you know what I'm talking about when I say 2 out of 10 times. They can leave all this behind. This could do some goofy shit like this and go. And it could leave all of that. Yeah, 100%. But I would probably put that at like 2 out of 10. Okay? So, I don't know. Do CME gaps always fill? For the most part, yes. But we have a CME gap at 9K, so Bugatti. So that's basically it. Now, that being said, it's level to level. So if you are gonna go grab that shit, you need to break that. You need to break that. You need to break the TPO point of control. You've got volume point of control. You've got basic Fibonacci that you know you're going to do something like this. You reject off of 75786 and you bounce off of 618. So it's still level to level. So like even on a smaller time frame, you have that. You can't be doing shit like that. You guys see it? Pixel fucking. Straight pixel fucking. So you've got that level if you're a bear. You've got that level if you're a bear. You got that level if you're a bear. That's it. And just sit back, relax, and we're going to get nasty with it. Never get emotionally compromised. Always let your logic and observations that you know you can rely on make your decisions for you. Alrighty. Well, we got 3 minutes on the 30-minute candle, so we'll take it bit by bit, and we can also watch S&P as well. Alrighty. So levels to the upside, identified. Levels to the downside, identified. We Gucci. Me personally, I'm going to be paying attention to open interest and CVD. The volume isn't really that much, so I don't really care too much for S&P. Would you consider shorting ETH instead of BTC if you expect ETH BTC weakness? Generically speaking, that is correct, but I wouldn't do it in this case, because Time Raccoon, there's a difference between expecting a pullback for a bullish bounce and getting into a short because you think it's topped out. So depending on which way that you have a bias, it's a little like for me, it doesn't make sense to try to short it. I would rather just wait for the bullish retest. But generally speaking, conceptually, yes, that's how you would want to play it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the 30-minute, 1 hour, it has closed. Traditional markets are now closed. It is futures only. Y'all ready to get nasty? In 60 minutes, it's going to be Macaulay Culkin hour. Everything will be paused. It'll be crypto by itself. Uh-oh, Macaulay Culkin. Are y'all ready? Y6 says, give me that 43A Bugatti money. You want that Bugatti money? Oh, wow, that's pretty far away from 8A6. I love it. Fibception. Okay, golden pocket fibception is 43,750. Bugatti. Crappy says, how have you layered your TPs around 39, 40K? I'll show you, brother. I have that. I got to redo this, but look at that. That's always been the home run math. And you probably know why these levels, right? But I need to adjust my stop loss in TP before my flight, probably like somewhere around here. Because I would be okay with it going to 45, right? Like we were talking about. And do I want to enter into a short, like another 100 Bitcoin position if it goes to 45? That's where I am. Crappy says, I thought you were planning to exit around 39 based off of morning TA. Yes, I'm probably going to adjust it a little bit. Maybe like 2020 instead of 535. Probably like 2020. Yeah, but here's the thing, Crappy, and I bet you already know what the fuck I'm going to say. It would really depend on what kind of data I see when we go down. I can't predict if the open interest will do nothing, if open interest is actually going to go up, or if $200 million on Bybit open interest delta gets nuked. And so if it goes to like a 41.7 or grabbing that poor low, the weak low, and we continue to make higher lows on the higher time frame and hold that bougie ass trend line, then we could go. I'm kicking it with you guys for like another 10-15 minutes. Do you find weekly VWAP useful? Yeah, yes and no. I'll flash through them, but for the most part, I don't really care too much on like the weekly. 1 hour, 4 anchored major minor VWAP is usually good enough for me. Talked about that. Talked about the fibs. Here's 12-hour one more time, fresh for everybody. Like a fresh baguette. You know what I'm talking about, French people. All right. So that's, 41,150 has that 109. 41,150 confluences with this sweep of this week low that we talked about. So you got a lot of liquid. That's bad, or that's poor, and you've got 100,000 Z level, 85 right below at 41.1. So be careful. Yeah, on the upside, you have Binancio Crayola at 44.2. Maybe somebody wants the sweep of the 44,000, but you know how I feel about 44 and 45, right? We have planned for 44. We have planned for 45. We have planned for 41.1. We have planned for 40,100 and then 39.5. Bugatti money, ladies and gentlemen, are we Bugatti money? Are you watching Grayscale assets at all? No, not really. I have like a weekly little refresh on some data, but I don't hear much about 236 and 114. Okay, so 114, they're all just opposites. This and this. Right? This and this. This and this. And then obviously that. They're all just mirror images of each other, right? One's bearish, one's bullish. So the 236 and the 25 is the bearish or the bullish inverse of the 75786. That's all it is. The 114 is the opposite inverse of the 886. So what I would tell you is the same thing that I always say, Matt. Try it out and see if there's a reason for you to have it. It's okay if you don't want it, brother. Desk slap. The full rotation play or 80% rule with value area. Does this have to be next day, or can it also enter the value area 3 days ago and do the full rotation? Nope, it has to be previous day. So I actually answered this before desk slap, or I think I answered it yesterday, and you might have missed it. There's different types of full rotations, and you just have to be aware of them, and you have to be able to recognize that they're playing out. Have you noticed that sometimes the previous day value area low, value area high rotation plays out, sometimes it doesn't? That specific play is specifically for previous day. Okay, but you might feel like it's doing the value area low, value area high rotation from 3 days ago, but it's really just a range value area high, value area low. And if you zoom out on the higher time frame and you go to fixed range point of control and you were to draw it, it might be overlapping and confluencing in that sense. But the specific play that you're talking about is a previous day value area low, value area high, full rotation play. But there's other full rotations. You can rotate from a weekly value area low to a weekly value area high, especially if you have a whole bunch of confluence at those levels and you get the bullish and bearish edge that you want at when you get to those levels. Does that answer your question? Desk slap. So there's different types, but the one you're talking about, it has to be the previous day. It just probably seems like, oh shit, does the previous 3 days ago value area low, value area high, is it playing out? It's not. It's probably a different type of value area range. And also doable with TPO. That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, so play around with a desk slap and let me know, if you see stuff. I'll try to hop on as early as I can tomorrow. So let's try to juice, y'all. If you're here, if I do happen to show up early tomorrow and you're here at the start, I'm gonna just jump right into a like alpha TA. We may be able to get filled live together or something. Sandbox says it looks like cup and handle, right? Is that you, MM Crypto? What does Bolkowski say? Okay, it's a pretty strong pattern. Break-even failure is 5%. Average rise 54. Throwback rate is 62% on the round trip. Percentage meeting target 61%. That's not too bad. It's a 3 out of 39. I don't know. I'm not really like a big cup and handle guy, but maybe like on the higher time frames, it's a little bit more respectable. All I know is this, and this is not really debatable. There's a poor low still at 41,300 whatever. There's a weak low at around 41,700. You're still technically within range, and it's rare that, because these were poor highs and you just spanked the shit out of them. It's rare that you leave the range without completely obliterating all the poor highs and all the poor lows. So if it wants to leave those behind, that's actually okay, but then I may probably want to start looking for something bearish around the 45 zone. And nothing blind, and I'll watch the open interest, and if it goes beyond 45 and it goes to like point of control type of shit, then I'm really shorting big probably. So, you know, if they leave it, then that's going to just give me more confluence for the short. I think the easiest long would either be a swing fail of this, or I think the one that I would really want is somewhere between 40 and 39.5. Obviously, I'm ready for that 33, 32, 31 as well, but we did a little bit of TA and open interest and all that stuff, and I think that's a little bit too aggressive and ambitious to be thinking about that level. So wouldn't surprise me at all if we sweep like 40,000, like get 39.5 or whatever, and then rotate back up, try to get 50. Okay. But Bugatti, if they want to go ahead and leave this and continue to make higher highs and hold this goofy ass trend line, do you, boo-boo? But you know how I feel about these goofy ass trend lines. At some point, Macaulay ain't gonna hold it. Almost there. Single prints. I see the single prints. I'm good. Wait. What the manipulation, man? I'm done with this shit. Fuck crypto. I'm going spot only. Altcoin spot. I don't know. So, longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Alrighty. The math is the math. I doubt we're going to end up, famous last words. I doubt we're going to start the stream tomorrow morning and we're at 46 or 39. I don't know about that. So I think you're still going to be in this little small ass range. If it's going to continue to hold higher lows, God bless you, bulls. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you at 45. You lose that. You know, make sure that you get some sort of like bearish retest if you're a bear. But yeah, that being said, watch out for like a swing failure on 41,370. All it could do is just grab all the weak lows, make a baby sweep, and then on the higher time frame, continue the higher lows and then head towards 50, right? So level by level. You know, I have the 42.8 and the 42.5 just kind of drawn right there. It's supposed to be 43, but these are not really that important. It's really the 41,370 poor low, and then 40,150-ish value area low, range low. And then you got a sweep at 39,970. You got CME gap fill, and then you have a 39,585 point of control. We're all lions, y'all. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Let them what happens when they don't use stop loss. He said he's gonna smack the shit out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, never forget, you are the best. Lions, let's go. I'm gonna try to start early tomorrow. If I do, I'm gonna spread the alphiest, the alpha-iest, the juiciest, the Bugattiest TA. And we gonna do something live.
All right, y'all. Have a great night. Love you guys. Peace.